Hello everyone, welcome to your news edition in English. Now your headlines. In Gabon, as regards the general elections to be held on August 26, 2023, the cabinet meeting has ratified the polling schedule. At the international level, the United Nations experts call on states to respect and defend the absolute prohibition of torture in armed conflicts. Once more, welcome to this news edition in English with me, live from Libreville in Gabon. To begin with, within the framework of the general elections to be held in Gabon, the Council of Ministers ratified the polling schedule, a decision made from the cabinet meeting that was held yesterday. Let's listen right now.
Ministère de l'Intérieur.
Draft decree setting the number of local and councillor electoral commissions for the election of the President of the Republic in 2023, pursuant to Article 17 of Law number 07/96 of March 12, 1996, on provisions common to all political elections. As amended, the above-mentioned text provides for the establishment of local and councillor electoral commissions for the election of the President of the Republic, each responsible for administering and ensuring the smooth running of the electoral process at the place of the installation. Draft decree convening the Electoral College for the election of the President of the Republic, members of the National Assembly and members of the departmental and municipal councils for the year 2023, the present draft decree issued in application of the provisions of Article 74 of Law number 07/96 of March 12, 1996 on provisions common to all political elections, as amended, convenes the Electoral College for the election of the President of the Republic, member of the National Assembly, and members of departmental councils and municipal councils for the year 2023. The Electoral College is therefore convened on Saturday, August 26, 2023. Voting will open at 7 a.m. and close at 6 p.m.
26 août 2023. Le scrutin est ouvert à 7 h et clos à 18 h.
At the continental level, the head of state Ali Bongo Ondimba is expected in Luanda, Angola, this Tuesday, 27th June, to attend the quadripartite summit of ECOWAS and the other sub-regional organization related to the situation in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo and in the Great Lakes region. This meeting was preceded by a meeting of ministers to prepare it. Details with Vanessa Togo and Aline Ndila.
Luanda, the Angolan capital, hosts the quadripartite summit on Tuesday on the coordination and harmonization of regional responses to the situation in the east of the DRC. In the run-up to this event, expert and quadripartite ministers from the economic and regional communities held meetings to identify peace initiatives, existing deployment of regional mechanisms, and the UN in order to determine the areas where coordination needs to be strengthened and to agree on a concrete approach.
C'est une réunion dite quadripartite.
It is a quadripartite meeting because it brings together 3 regional economic communities and a regional mechanism, example ICAS, SADC, EAC, and ICGLR. The aim of this meeting is preparation for the summit to harmonize and coordinate all the regional efforts to promote peace in the east of the DRC.
Dans l'est de la RDC.
At this preparatory meeting with the participation of the UN, the Minister of Foreign Affairs underlined the guidelines.
Nous venons ici porter la voix de la CAC.
We have come here to speak on behalf of ICAS, which is one of the guarantor institutions of the Addis Ababa Agreement. Once the act of accession has been finalized, so we have come here to speak on behalf of ICAS based on that. The second commitment concerns Gabon. As you know, peace and security are one of the pillars of our foreign policy, and we are making sure that this interest in peace is preserved.
Cet intérêt en matière de paix soit préservé.
The head of state Ali Bongo Ondimba, in his capacity as current president of ICAS, will be taking an active part alongside the other heads of state and government.
On a different note, Senegal is fully digitizing its healthcare system. To achieve this objective rapidly, the government has turned to the World Bank, which is providing financial support for the implementation of the project. Not that a total of 30 million CFA francs has been allocated by the financial institution. Maria Batista Mbena for the story now.
It's nearly 30 million CFA francs financed by the World Bank in favor of Senegal to promote the national program to digitize the health system to 100%. Since 2017, Macky Sall countries have begun digitizing its healthcare system. Several actions have been taken to completely transform the sector. Recently, a draft orientation law on digital health was finalized and sent to the Government General Secretariat for implementation. Among other things, the bill covers telemedicine, patient record, data hosting and management. It will host 4 online medical data scan, magnetic resonance and checkups. So this is an important issue. This data can be stored on secure servers to help patients coordinate their care. A patient medical file must follow him/her circulating securely in a national database, and that's a great added value of the patient. Senegal has 1,500 health posts, 1,010 health centers, and 40 hospitals to be digitized. In the startup phase, 20 health centers will be involved and 1.5 million patients, so 50% of them women will benefit from the shared patient record.
At the international level, faced with the persistence of torture of individuals around the world, United Nations experts call on states to respect and defend the absolute prohibition of torture in armed conflicts. To be specific, Tibotungu Tabaga and Modesto come for more details now.
26th of June is an opportunity to call on all stakeholders, including UN member states, civil society, and individuals around the world, to unite in support of the hundreds of thousands of people who have been victims of torture. According to the United Nations, torture is simply a crime under international law and is subject to an absolute prohibition that cannot be justified under any circumstances. This prohibition is part of international law and applies to all members of the international community, whether or not the state has ratified the international treaties in which torture is expressly prohibited. The systematic or widespread practice of torture constitutes a crime against humanity. The United Nations human rights mechanisms dealing with torture call on states to respect and uphold the absolute prohibition of torture. The United Nations human rights experts remind all parties to conflict that the protection afforded by international human rights law continue to be applicable in situation of armed conflict. The prohibition of torture is just a norm of international law, a fundamental principle that applies at all times, in all circumstances, and to all parties to conflict.
And the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Central African States held its second ordinary session of the year by video conference yesterday, Monday. At this session, the committee examined recent economic development and the macroeconomic outlook at both international and regional level. Tibotungu Tabaga again.
The session began in the early morning of 26th of June. For several hours, the various participants examined the economic situation in the sub-region and the macroeconomic outlook. At the end of the meeting, the president of the Bank of Central African States held a press briefing to brief journalists on the key points of the meeting.
Dans les perspectives de l'économie mondiale du Fonds monétaire international.
According to the International Monetary Fund's World Economic Outlook, updated in April this year, global growth is expected to return to 3.4% in 2022. The sub-regional economic outlook is less favorable, with growth expected to fall to 3% in 2022 and 4% in 2023, and inflation to rise to 6.1% in 2023 from 5.6% last year.
1% pour l'année 2023 contre 5,6% l'année dernière.
The current economic context is therefore difficult. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, CPM has decided to maintain the necessary conditions to ensure macroeconomic stability and growth through concerted efforts.
Le CPM a décidé donc
The MPC decided to leave the interest rate on tenders unchanged at 5%, the marginal lending rate at 6.75%, the deposit facility rate at 0%, and the reserve requirement ratio at 7% on side liabilities and 5.4% on term TU liabilities.
4,5% sur les exigibilités à terme.
According to the president of Banque Végétale de l'Afrique centrale, even more coordinated action by the various states is needed to guarantee lasting economic stability in the sub-region.
To end this newscast, micro, small and medium-sized enterprises are essential for the sustainable development of societies. Therefore, the United Nations has declared June 27th as World Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Day. The event aims to raise awareness on the contributions these entities can make to achieving the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. John Serindamenge and Fouty-Bm Okom.
Micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises account for 90% of businesses, 60 to 7% of jobs, and 50% of GDP worldwide. With these figures, they contribute to local and national economies, as well as to sustaining livelihoods, particularly for the working poor, women, young people, and groups in vulnerable situations. MSMEs have the potential to transform economies, foster job creation, and promote equitable economic growth if properly supported. This year's Micro, Small, and Medium-Sized Enterprises Day aims to highlight the essential role played by these entities, but also to explore the opportunities that will enable them to continue to grow and protect them from potential economic or social shocks and crises. This year's theme is Women in Youth Entrepreneurship and Supply Chain Resilience. Businesses owned by young people and women are among the most threatened. This day, therefore, aims to call on governments to create environments that support micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises for financial inclusion by enabling them to access markets and means of financing equitably.
That's where we end this newscast. We have a recap of the headlines now. In Gabon, we said, as regards the general elections to be held on August 26, 2023, the cabinet meeting has ratified the polling schedule. At the international level, the United Nations experts call on states to respect and defend the absolute prohibition of torture in armed conflicts. The viewers, Gabonese general elections are going to be held on 26 August, Tuesday, July 11th, 2023 at 6:00 p.m. is set as the deadline for filing candidacy registration for any of the elections for the year 2023. As for me, I say goodbye for now.